Hello students, this is Chef Rahul from All India Shri Shivaji Memorial Society's College of Hotel Management and Catering Technology, Pune. In this video, we are going to discuss the kitchen organization structure by covering the points like classical kitchen brigade for 5-star and 3-star hotel, duties of various chefs, and Liaison of Kitchen, other departments. What is kitchen brigade, which is called Brigade de Cuisine in French? It is an hierarchical structure of entire kitchen's operational staff. This concept is developed by Chef Augustus Escoffier. This varies as per the type and size of the establishment. Kitchen brigade depends upon 5 factors. The first is the menu, which determines the tasks to be carried out in the kitchen. Type of establishment, where the establishment is a 5-star, 3-star, or of a medium size operation or a smaller size operation, that will decide the number of people required to produce the menu. Now, size of the operation, this is interrelated with the previous point, which is type of establishment. The type of establishment will also decide the size of the operation. If the establishment is bigger, like a 5-star hotel, will have the size of operation bigger as well. And for the smaller establishment, it is vice versa. In the physical facilities, which decides the brigade, the facilities which are available to produce the food, for example, the equipments and the space which is available for the food production, also the changing room and the storing facility of the food, the restrooms for the employees, cafeterias for the employees, will decide the number of kitchen employees required for that particular operation. Human resource. Now, the available manpower in that locality of the hotel will also decide the kitchen brigade. Now, in some cases, if the skill required is not available locally, then it has been recruited from the other location. But it is always advisable to have a smooth function of the kitchen operation. You are supposed to, rather you are advised to hire the manpower from the local market. Now, let's have a look on the classical kitchen brigade of a 5-star hotel in India. Now, all these kitchen brigade members are same in all the global hotels wherever you go, apart from the local section, which is the Indian section for the food production. Now, if you have a 5-star hotel in India, you have CDP Indian in your team. Now, let's look at the brigade. It starts with the executive chef, which is Chef de Cuisine, who's been assisted by the Sous chef, to whom all the CDPs report in day-to-day operations. Now, all these CDPs are also assisted with the demi-chef de Partie in few of the cases where the CDP, rather where the operation of the kitchen is divided into 3 shifts. In that case, the CDPs are assisted by demi-chef de Partie. Elsewise, all the CDPs are supported by the commis chefs, that is the first commis, second commis, third commis, and the job trainees or the apprentice. Now, let's see which are the departments, rather which are the sections, which are the parties which are included in this hierarchy. You have sauce section, roast section, fish section, larder section, grill section, soup, pastry, breakfast, Indian, and vegetable. And you also have 2 chefs which are equal to the CDPs, are the chef reliever, that is the chef relief, who relieves all the other CDP chefs in their absence or if they fall sick. And the staff cook as well is considered as good as a CDP. Now, you have a few sections, or rather few parties, which are again divided into further departments, the further stations. Likewise, the larder is divided into cold work, butcher, and order. Now, all these three sections in the larder are also supported by the commie and apprentice. The next section, if we see, is pastry, which is divided into bakery and ice cream section, where all the dessert and pastries are manufactured, and those are supported by the commie and apprentice as well. Now, coming to the Indian section, in India, in the five-star hotel, the Indian section is again divided into three parts. One is hot, the other one is tandoor, and the third one is halwai. Where in the hot section you have all the curries produced. In tandoor section you have all the starters, that is kebab, and the plates are produced. And in the halwai section you have the sweets produced. In the medium hotel in India, the kitchen brigade will consist of chef de cuisine, chef saucier, chef rôtissier, chef cuisinier, chef entremetier, chef garde-manger, chef pâtissier, and chef Indian. Apart from chef Indian, the hierarchy, rather the kitchen brigade, will stay same for medium hotel operation across the globe. Now the subsidiary department which are under the control of the chef de cuisine are aboyer, still room, silver room, stores, scullery porters, kitchen porters. Now the aboyer is the person who calls out the order in the kitchen which he receives from the F&B service personnel and make sure that is been picked up properly and given it to the guest as per their order. Now in some of the, rather most of the organization, this responsibility is been taken care by the sous chef. Steel room, silver room, kitchen porters, and scullery porters. These are the four sections which are under the kitchen stewarding department. In the steel room and silver room, all the crockery, cutlery, silverware, and steelware which is required for the food service are stored and taken care of. Scullery porters are the pot washers who work under the kitchen stewarding department as the kitchen porters. Now, kitchen porters are the people who keep the kitchen floor and the kitchen equipment clean. Now, the people will work in the kitchen porters will work in the kitchen areas to keep it clean and tidy. Stores will majorly work in coordination with the purchase, but it also has the control of the chef de cuisine in day-to-day operations to check the stock in hand and to check the quality of the ingredients. Now, in the modern times, you have small establishments like the standalone restaurants coming up and the small eateries. Also, you have the cloud kitchens, you have dark kitchens in the for the parcel eateries, for parcel services. So in those kind of establishments, you have the chef owner, means the owner who's a chef as well and who's been assisted by the apprentice and on the job trainees. This is the small establishment kitchen brigade structure. Now, slightly bigger and more organized small establishment would have chef de cuisine assisted by the CDPs, the CDP with the apprentice, and that CDP would be looking after the salads, sandwiches, larder, and sweets. The other CDP can look after the a la carte orders, which is the main course or the entree orders, and the other one could look after the grill, roast, soup, and sauces required. Now, let's look at the video which is on the kitchen brigade.
Tech Academy. Today we're actually going to have a look at the Partie system or the Kitchen Brigade organisation. We're going to look at the history, we're going to look at how this has revolutionised the way we actually interact in a commercial kitchen. And it is key understanding if you're going to work in a commercial kitchen. So let's go. This is one of those mixes that is very, very important for you working in hospitality, as you will be going into work placement. So in this mix, you'll learn about the Kitchen Brigade history, who came up with it, how it was organised. We're then going to actually look at the modern Kitchen Brigade and how that actually relates to kitchens right now. And then we're going to look at different kitchen roles and responsibilities within those. In essence, Kitchen Brigade is an organisational system for all chefs, ranking them, putting them in different sections to bring the food together. It was devised by, it's called the King of Chefs, George Auguste Escoffier, and every chef who's gone through their apprenticeship knows that Escoffier was known for defining French cuisine in the 18th century. He worked in the army, had wartime experience. He fought in the Franco-Prussian War. And at that point in the 18th century, culinary world lacked structure. So what he did was he invented the brigade system, used his army experience, and to this day, that classic system, in essence, has not changed in the last 250 years, which is quite amazing considering food has moved on so much since. The classic Kitchen Brigade system that was actually devised by Escoffier was a lot more complicated than what it is in the modern day right now. For this course, you only need to know the modern Kitchen Brigade, but major elements of the original system still are here today. So at the top of the tree there, you have the executive chef. This is based more on a large hotel. Large hotels can have up to 4 different sous chefs. This is the key to the system, is at the chef de partie level, Escoffier broke it down, tasks and workflows into different sections and actually brought that all together. There's cold larder and a chef de partie in cold larder. Cold larder doing salads, any small preparations, appetizers are done in the cold larder section. The saucier section generally is all of the sauces, the stocks, anything that's needed for the main courses or entrees. And the saucier generally is one of the more experienced chefs in the kitchen. The grill section, they butcher all of the meat and actually cook off the meat on the barbecues. Patissier, which is still a word we use today. They do all the cakes, the desserts, the breads, that kind of thing. Then seafood, all the preparation of seafood, the grilling, entree and main is actually done in this section. And one that's very important is the relief chef for those times when the chefs are off sick. Now the rank below, and this rank is when you finish your apprenticeship, you become a commis chef. So they would have a number of commis chefs in each section, depending on the size and how many functions or how many restaurants they had. And then finally, you'd have the little baby chef down there, the apprentice, who's learning from those different chefs. So generally, anyone that jumps above sous chef into executive chef have actually worked through all of these sections, and that is a very important one. So let's look at roles and responsibility. So let's start at the top. I actually have one of the most famous French chefs from the 80s and the 90s, Anton Moseman. So let's look at the responsibilities of an executive chef. So the general one is management of the overall kitchen operation. They do the planning, organising, hiring, firing of staff, leading different things within hotels and restaurants, controlling food costs, making sure that the menu items go up consistently, building capacity of their staff and also motivating them in those busy periods. They generally make sure that there is tasty, nutritious and well-presented foods which meets the needs of the customers, ensuring food safety, the cleanliness of kitchen operations, and generally making sure that the food is on time for all customers. So who's seen Ratatouille? Yes, this is actually one of those characters from Ratatouille, the Sous chef. And you would have heard of these terms, but this comes directly from that Brigade system. It's second in charge, so they will basically be in charge when the chef's not there. They tend to run the day-to-day operations, making sure staff arrive on time and things are going out when they should, ensuring quality. They generally do a lot of staff training at different levels. They report directly back to the executive chef, and they are generally the people who will receive and check orders and prices. And a lot of the sous chefs will work under executive chefs and then move up later. Chef de partie, and yes, it's French if that surprises you, they are the middle managers in any kitchen brigade. They are the people right in the middle. They look after commis and the apprentices, and they also report up to the sous chef and the executive chef. So the key responsibilities of a chef de partie is they will actually look after a section. A section could be cold larder, pâtissière, it could be grill. They manage the chefs below them, again ensuring quality within their section and actually making sure they're meeting the costing and the food cost, and also the recipes, making sure there's consistency. Again, staff training and actually managing food wastage. As mentioned before, the commis chef is the rank that you come out of when you finish your apprenticeship. Responsibilities for food preparation, for the service of food. They take the orders from the chef de parties and the sous chefs as they come around. Like any chef, maintaining food quality and the cleanliness of their work areas and their section. It's key in any trade that we have apprentices there to actually learn the trade and to follow on, and then generations of chefs come through with those skills. So apprentice chef generally working in different sections, and as an apprentice chef in a 5-star hotel, you will get moved around the section so that you get the experience. They're there to gain practical training in the kitchen, food preparation, cleaning as directed, and here in New South Wales and Australia, they attend 1 day's college a week to actually get their qualification, which is a Cert 3, in commercial cookery. Now, I know in class I probably told you a few stories about how crucial the kitchen hand is in the kitchen, that if they are not doing their job, they're the support for cleaning plates and cutlery and pans, and if it doesn't come back fast enough, the whole service can grind to a halt very quickly, and I've had that experience a few times. They are responsible also for removing garbage, maintaining the environmental hygiene of the kitchen, and in a lot of cases they will actually do a bit of basic food preparation, but a key role in the kitchen and a good starter if you want to move into an apprenticeship as a chef. Escoffier was a visionary in a lot of ways, and the Kitchen Brigade system as it is now has so many of those basic elements, and he was a visionary in his time. That organisation of the kitchen is crucial to make sure workflows happen, and you will see that when you go out for work placement. Thanks for watching. See you next time at the Harbour Tech Academy.
So students, after watching such an informative video, let's look at the responsibilities or the duties of the chefs. Coming to the in charge, the head of the kitchen, that is chef de cuisine, executive chef, the responsibilities which he carries is he is responsible for the entire kitchen operation. He is a cook as well as he is an administrator. He has to be at his best while he is cooking and while he is administering the kitchen operation. He is responsible for quick service of the food without compromising the quantity and quality. His job is to maintain the discipline in his team, that is the kitchen brigade. Economy and efficiency. He has to be very careful while planning the menu. It should be cost effective and efficient to produce and serve as well. He needs to be acquainted with the prices in the market of the raw material. He also needs to understand whether he has to keep himself updated with the market trends. What are the trends in the markets are going on in terms of preferences of the food? Commodities in the season. He needs to take care of the knowledge in coordination with the purchase department about the commodities in the season, which will help him to reduce the cost and to provide the variety in the menu as well. Customer requirements. He needs to understand from all his sources, F&B service personnel, and he himself can go up to the guest in during the service period and try to understand the customers' requirements for future planning of the business. This all includes forecasting, planning, organizing, and supervising the work of the kitchen, as well as he has to look into the purchase to control the cost. Also, he needs to train and direct the staff so that there would be minimum wastage and the greater productivity of the kitchen department. Sous chef or assistant executive chef. He is the person who assists the head chef in the operation. Majorly, he would be calling up the order from the kitchen which has been received from the F&B service, a job which normally a person called a boyer does it in the hotel. The old hierarchy, old kitchen brigade hierarchy. But nowadays, the job is being performed by the sous chef. He supervises the food service as well. That means the picking of the food from the kitchen to the guest table. He is responsible for the day-to-day function of the kitchen. He supervises the practical kitchen activities. That means the cooking of the food, mise en place, the control of wastage and service of the food. He prepares the staff schedule, duty rota, ensuring that the day's working is not under pressure. It moves smoothly. It's his responsibility to take care that the kitchen operation moves smoothly throughout the day. In larger establishment, there are a number of sous chefs, especially when there are separate kitchens like grill room, restaurants, and banquet services. So, if the establishment is larger, the operation is going to be bigger, so as the kitchen brigade. So, now, on the basis of number of personnel working in that particular section, you need to keep the sous chef for the separate operations. Now we'll discuss the section heads, which are chef de parties. Now you need to understand one more term here is demi chef de partie, which is assistant chef de partie. He will carry out all the responsibilities same as the chef de partie, but will be a second in command all the time. These are the section heads for different sections in the kitchen. For example, roast, lather, sauce, grill, etc. Each chef de partie is been supported by a team of commis cooks, which are first commis, second commis, third commis, and also the trainees, that is the apprentice people. They are being provided to that CDP according to the food production load, the kind of production the section needs to be contributed to the hotel. Now, in so many hotels where the operation is 24/7 and the work is divided into 3 shifts, most of the sections would be working in 2 shifts, that is the first shift and the second shift. also called morning shift and evening shift. There are very few sections which would be working in the night shift. The work in that section could be split up between Chef de Partie and his first commis. But whatever the scenario, whatever the situation, the Chef de Partie is the person who is going to be the responsible person throughout the working period for his section or his party. Now, as I said in the previous slide, that the kitchen operation for the effectiveness and also for the less pressure on the kitchen brigade is divided into two separate period of times, that is AM and PM, basically known as the first shift or the morning shift and second shift or the evening shift. Now for these two shifts, for these two period, you will have two separate brigades. A complete set of brigade would work in the morning, and the same would be same people, same amount of people rather, would be working in the evening shifts as well. Now this system is being preferred because then not a single person, rather not a CDP, doesn't have to work in the split shift, which will occupy his entire day, and he won't have his own time, and which might lead to the pressure. You need to keep this in mind as well, that all the chef de parties are supervisors or foremen of their sections. Let's discuss the coordination of the kitchen department with other departments. First one is the store. With the store, the kitchen coordinates for the requisition of ingredients on daily or weekly basis. Kitchen also needs to know for its effective operation the availability or stock in hand of ingredients, whether we have the ingredients available in our stores or no, so that they can plan their menu and the production as well. Also, they can understand the costing of the indent which they have requested. Purchase. With the purchase department, they know the market value of a particular ingredient, so that if they have to incorporate an ingredient in its menu, they can also have a look on the cost side. The availability of specific ingredient in the market is also known from the purchase department. Also, to give the updates on new product in the market and its feasibility in the food production department, whether it is good or it is not good for our production, for the kitchen operation where the menu is served. If that particular ingredient which has been introduced in the market is feasible to produce into the product, rather convert it into a product, whether it is feasible or not, that feedback could be given from the kitchen department, which helps the purchase to procure the good quality ingredients. Kitchen coordinates with accounts for its employees, rather the kitchen brigade members' salaries and wages. And very important for the executive chef is the sales of various F&B outlets and their food costs. Now, F&B service is the department which works very closely with the kitchen department. The kitchen brigade needs to coordinate with the F&B service for its orders, the a la carte dishes orders, which is placed by the F&B personnel through the KOT, which is kitchen order ticket, and needs to supply the same on time with considering the best quality. Planning of menus for events, food festivals, and in any special banquets is being carried out with the coordination of the F&B service. If also we have some dishes in the menu which we need to upsell. Now this is been done, rather this can be achieved by the help of F&B service people. To inform the guest requirement beforehand is the job, rather is the responsibility of F&B service towards the kitchen, so that the kitchen can procure the material and give a best product out of it. And the most important coordination is for the feedback from the guests, which will decide the improvisation, or if we need to change any dish, or if we have to improve any dish, that will help to do that. And the executive chef is depending on this feedback of the guests from the F&B service. Now the next department is housekeeping, where the clean uniforms are obtained in return of dirty ones. Also the housekeeping carries out the periodical pest control in the kitchen. Maintenance. Maintenance department maintains and services all the electronic appliances in the kitchen. Also demonstrate the working of new equipment. It ensures the constant electric supply, exhaust and fresh air supply in the kitchen. I hope you must have enjoyed and liked this session. Thank you for being patient throughout the session. Please attempt the quiz by clicking the link provided in the description box, especially the students of All India Shri Shivaji Memorials Society's College of Hotel Management and Catering Technology. Thank you once again and have a good day ahead. Thank you and keep learning and keep watching. Goodbye.